alert people that they are being magically bound to a contract and don't allow you to trick anyone into anything?" Josh offered. That was news to me, and it would have been good information to have known before I'd become involved with him. I'd assumed that they were triggered by his emotions, like that weird eye color shift thing that happened with were-animals. He hadn't taken a seat either, but instead was switching between pacing and leaning against the counter behind Logan while intermittently sending deadly glares in his direction. Logan smiled. "Exactly. You've noticed I'm the only one who has them. Why should I bear the marks of past mistakes that were forced on me by the dreadful witches?" "How many did it take to invoke the curse?" Josh asked. Logan made a face. 13. "If these marks were given to you by 13 witches, how are we, with one witch, going to remove them?" I asked. Logan's attention shifted to Ethan, where it stayed for a long time before reverting to me. His tone held a cool edge. "You removed a curse done by witches before, so it stands to reason that you can do the same again. But frankly, how it is done really isn't my problem, as long as it is." Sebastian had implied that we had access to the Clostra, a book of powerful spells, and the very thing we'd used in lifting the death curse witches had placed on me, accidentally lifting the ward that had kept Logan from leaving his home as well. If Logan hadn't helped with finding the Trace, then we would have reversed the broken ward. We had 2 volumes of the set of 3. Getting the third wasn't as easy as Sebastian had led Logan to believe. The tension was so thick it was suffocating. Sebastian's eyes narrowed as they homed in on the creature that had become the pack's enemy. His jaw clenched before his lips pulled back, baring the edges of his teeth, as though he was ready to strike. Logan chuckled, placed his hand on the cylindrical jar, and smiled, a subtle reminder that he had the upper hand. The tension-filled stillness continued, and he seemed to be feeding off the anger directed at him. He took his hand off the jar and stood in a dramatic gesture before clasping his hands behind him, unconcerned that he'd left the container with us. Pacing the room, he kept his back to us and continued. "Should I go on with my second request?" No one responded. He turned and directed his attention to Sebastian and asked the question again. Sebastian didn't speak, but instead fixed Logan with the same hard stare he had given him most of the day. He took Sebastian's silence as a tacit agreement to go on. He resumed pacing the room, a haughty smile draped over the magically modified features that disguised his actual grotesque appearance. Teeth that protruded from his maw, a gruesome elongated snout that dominated his face, and horns that extended from his scalp. His usual monstrous broad build didn't lend itself to the graceful movements he was now afforded by his human form, a slim frame that moved agilely through the room. He'd changed his hair again. Now it was a pale blonde color with light hints of silver throughout. But we had already stopped paying attention to him and started to concentrate on Josh. His eyes had eclipsed to a smoky color, something that happened when he called upon stronger magic. He kept doing spell after spell. I could see magic inching closer toward the jar. Then it wrapped around it like condensation before it faded away. Each time Josh tried a spell, an equal force pushed his magic away. Logan's dark laugh filled the room as he kept his back to us. "Ah, yes. Did I expect anything less than the witch attempting to remove the spell? Tell me, are you having any success?" he taunted, and the glare that Josh shot in his direction indicated